Joining us on the line to discuss this further is Alexander Azad Khan. He's a professor of strategic global management, and he joins us on the line from California. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Professor Azad Khan. Now, you heard the U.S. envoy to the UN saying that ballistic missile tests by Iran are absolutely unacceptable. What do you say to that?
Well, before I get into that, I'd like to reiterate what was said. Iran does have intrinsic and unalienable rights to defend itself. And then to answer your question, Ambassador Haley is being untruthful, and she knows she's being untruthful. They like to change the narrative into making this issue from an intrinsic and unalienable right for Iran to defend itself into the fact that Iran wants to be offensive, and nothing could be further from the truth. As you stated, UN Security Council Resolution 2231 specifically states this. However, the problem, Kenny, seems to be that we are going from somewhat of a reconciliatory administration, President Obama's administration, and I emphasize the word somewhat. We are going from that administration into a very hawkish, aggressive, and the type of administration where Mr. Trump thinks he can renegotiate everything as if it's some kind of a real estate deal. This is international law, and it's specifically stated that Iran can defend itself. How else would
Professor
Iran defend
Azad Khan,
itself?
let me just jump in there. Do you think that the U.S. administration under Trump is now building a case to show that Iran may be in violation of the UN Security Council resolution and the JCPOA in order to renegotiate it?
Let me finish my point before I answer that. Iran is, the West and NATO knows Iran cannot defend itself with its outdated F-4 and even F-14 jets. So this is crucial to the Iranian defense. Now, what was your question again?
I asked you, Professor Azad Khan, is that are we seeing Trump's administration building a case against Iran, showing as though it is in violation of JCPOA in order to renegotiate it?
Absolutely. They're using this as a leverage, Kenny's. They're going to try to use anything else as a leverage too, to basically have the upper hand to renegotiate it. But it's not going to hold water. It's not logical and it's not legal. And if we have seen anything from the Trump administration within the past few days, is that they have no understanding of international relations. They don't even have an understanding of domestic issues. So they're going to try to act illegally for the sole purpose of shaping the narrative and for the sole purpose of psychological warfare to make Iran look like the aggressor. Whereas in reality, it's Washington and it's Mr. Trump's administration and his Ambassador Haley's rhetoric that is very aggressive and corrosive. And everybody knows that.
Well, this does go in complete violation of that spirit of the JCPOA, of course, where we saw session after session between ministers of the P5+1 and Iran trying to build that confidence and trust in order to bring about this deal.
They don't care, Kenny's. This is an administration, this is an individual who wants to do away with NATO. And maybe that would be a good thing. But I take him at his word. I take him literally. He wants to not only renegotiate this, now he's saying he wants to renegotiate JCPOA, but before that, during his campaign months, he said this is the worst deal, not just for America, but in history. We have to take him seriously and we have to take him literally. He actually thinks he can renegotiate this. Like I said, he's a businessman. That's what he does. He doesn't have any understanding of international relation agreements. And what's worse, it's his advisors who are motivating this. They should know better. These are Republican establishment, his advisors for most part, and they actually think they can renege and they can go against their word. There's one individual in that administration, General Mathis, who in front of Congress, Kenny's, specifically stated that we gave our word to the Iranians. He actually has honor, but for the rest of them, they want to be violators, even though they want to try to make Iran and create the perception that Iran is the violator. What I'm really hoping is that the P5 countries, at least, or the P5+1 minus United States, that they would actually stand firm with Iran. And we're seeing some indications of that because the right is coming to power in Europe. So there could be a drift between Brussels and Washington, and I think Iranians should take advantage of this in order to promote their cause, which is the cause of truth and self-defense and sovereignty.
Okay, we'll keep a close eye on the situation as it unfolds. That's Professor Alexander Azad Khan, Professor of Strategic Global Management, joining us on the line from California.